So in this video, we are going to learn how to notify team member on Google Chat for new or updated row in Zoho Sheet. Now suppose guys, if you're using Zoho Sheet as a spreadsheet program and you and your team members actually communicate on Google Chat. So this automation is going to help you a lot. Using this automation, whenever a new row will be added or any existing row will be updated in our Zoho Sheet account, automatically the details of that newly added row or updated row will be sent as a message on our Google Chat space, and we are going to update our team members for the same. So this is a pretty amazing automation. Now, if you want to know how you can set up this automation all by yourself, for that you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name it as Zoho Sheet to Google Chat. And then just click on Create. Now you can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. Now the idea here is, first, we have to connect our Zoho Sheet account, our Zoho Sheet with Pabbly Connect in the trigger window, so that every time a new row of data is added or a new row or any of the data of the existing row is updated in our Zoho Sheet, we will get the details of that new row or updated row inside Pabbly Connect. And this automation workflow will trigger, it will start. After that, after getting the details of a new or an updated row from Zoho Sheet, we want to send the details of that row inside Google Chat as a message over here. So we will be sending the message on our Google Workspace, on Google Chat, and then we will be sending those details over there to update our team members as well. So let's see how it is done. Starting with our trigger window here in Choose App, first we have to search for Zoho Sheet. Just select it. After selecting Zoho Sheet, in trigger event from this drop-down, we have to select the trigger event as new or updated row because we want to get the details in both the condition, when a new row is added and when a existing row is updated as well. Then just click on Connect and select Add New Connection. Now here guys, we have to connect our Zoho Sheet account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this Connect with Zoho Sheet button. After clicking on Connect, here you can see it is asking us for the domain of our Zoho account. Now you must be thinking how you can get this domain. So you just have to log into your Zoho account, and here in the URL section, here you can see the domain. The zoho.in is my domain, the domain of my Zoho account. Just copy this domain from here and paste it over here. Your domain must be anything out of all of these 5. It can be zoho.com, zoho.com.au, zoho.eu, zoho.in, or zoho.com.cn. You must be having one domain out of any of these. So you just have to enter the domain over here and then just click on Save. Now when we click on Save, because we have already logged into our Zoho account in our browser, Pabbly Connect will detect the same account over here. We just have to click on this Accept button, and as we click on Accept, we will see our Zoho Sheet account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the workbook. And here in this dropdown, you will get a list of all the workbooks which you have in your Zoho Sheet account. Right now in my Zoho Sheet account, I have only one workbook named as Lead Data. That's why here in Pabbly Connect, in this dropdown, you can see only one workbook. But here, if you have created multiple workbooks, you have to select that the data of a new row or updated row from which particular workbook you want to get inside Pabbly Connect. So I want to get the data of new row or updated row from this particular workbook. So we have selected this workbook over here. After workbook, the next thing it asks us is the worksheet. So here in this workbook as well, you can see it can be multiple sheets. It can have multiple sheets over here. So data from which particular worksheet we want to get inside Pabbly Connect. We have to select that sheet over here. In this workbook, you can see there is only one sheet named as Sheet 1. That's why here in the dropdown, you can see only one sheet as Sheet 1. And from this particular worksheet, we want to get the details. So we will be selecting that worksheet as well. And after selecting it, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now, when we click on Save and Send Test Request, we will see it will change to Waiting for Response. So here you can see that it has now changed over here, Waiting for Response. This means Pabbly Connect trigger is waiting to get some details, some data of a new or updated row from Zoho Sheet. So let's add the details in a new row, for example. So here this is the sheet. Let me add the details of a user. For example, test user, this is the name. This is the email address. You can basically enter any details in your worksheet as you choose. Then let's add a dummy mobile number over here. The city is, for example, Mumbai. And then let's start the status as, for example, cold lead. So in this sheet, for example, I'm adding the details of new leads over here. So here you can see that in our Zoho sheet, just now we have added a new row of data. And because we have connected this sheet with Pabbly Connect, we will see in our Pabbly Connect trigger window, we will receive the response. And yes, the response is received. In this response, you can see all the details of this newly added row over here. So the first thing which we have is the webhook ID, the unique webhook ID of this connection. Now after that, here you can see the row type. And here in row type, you can see it is showing us new, that a new row is added. The event is new row is added. Then here you can see the row index, the row number, the row index in which we have added the data is row 3, as you can see. Then after that, here you can see the status, cold lead, the same status which we have entered. Then you can see the same mobile number, same name, first name and last name, same email address and city as well. So in this way, whenever you are going to add a new row of data in your Zoho sheet, automatically the details of that newly added row will be received inside Pabbly Connect. And here in this response, it will tell us that is it a new row or is it an updated row. So here, because we have right now added a new row of data, it is showing us the response as new. But if we update some existing row or existing data, in that case, it will show us updated over here. Let's recapture this response. Click on this recapture webhook response button. Just click on yes button. And after this, let me update a row. So we have just now added this row. Let me update this row. For example, I'll change the status as follow-up pending. So I have updated a row in my Zoho sheet, and we will see as we update this row, within few seconds, we will get the response, we will get the details inside Pabbly Connect. So let's wait for a few seconds. And yes, here you can see that once again, we have received the response, and this time the response type is updated. We have received the response for a row or a data being updated in our Zoho sheet. And then here you can see the details of the same row. Here you can see the updated status, the mobile number which we have in that row over here. Then you can see the last name, first name, email address, city, and all the other details. In this way, for both the cases, we will be getting the response. We will be getting the details inside Pabbly Connect. If we add a new row, we will get the row type as new. And if we update a new row or existing row, then in that case, we will be getting the response update over here. So the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. We have received this response over here. Now let's move to step 2. In step 2, we want to send these same details which we have received from Zoho to Google Chat. So we will just scroll down, come to this action window over here. And then here guys, in choose app, we are going to select router over here. Now we are selecting router over here because we have two different conditions in this response. The first condition is when we get the details of a new row, we will get the row type as new. In that case, I want to send a different message on my Google Chat account. And if we get the response of row type as update, in that case, I want to set up or I want to send a different message on my Google Chat account, updating my team members. So here we have two different routes, two branches or two conditions or two parts in our automation workflow. So we are going to set up two different parts. As we select router by Pabbly, by default, it has given us two different routes. But if you want, by clicking on this add route button, you can add multiple routes as well. So let's set up the first route. I will just rename it. For example, I'll rename it as update. So if the row is updated in our Zoho sheet, in that case, what route or what path of automation we want this workflow to follow. So we have selected this route as update. Now let's click on this filter and action step, set filter and action step. And the first thing it asks us is the filter. Now here guys, we have to enter a filter condition that on what basis this automation is going to decide that this route should be continued. So we want that if we get this response of update over here in row type, in that case, we want this automation workflow to be executed using this route which we will be setting up. So here guys, what we are going to do, we will go to set filter and actions tab, and here in select label in this drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Zoho Sheet. Out of all of these responses, here in select label, we are going to select this label as updated row 0 row type. Just select this label over here. The filter type will be equals to, in the drop down you can see different filter types. We are going to select equals to as the filter type, and the value will be update. So we are telling this route, we are at setting up a filter condition that if the response of row type is equals to update, just a second, it's in all caps. If the response of this row type is update, in that case, this automation workflow will be executed using this route. Now let's click on save and send test request. After clicking on save and send test request, here you can see we have received the response. And in this response, it is showing us the condition is true. So we have captured this response for a row type that is update, and we have set up the filter condition for the same as well. You can see. So that's why it is showing us the condition is true. This means whenever a row will be updated in our Zoho Sheet account, in that case, this automation workflow will be executed using this route. So using this route, what are the action steps we want to follow? We want to send a message on Google Chat. So let's click on this add action step button. And then here in choose app, we will be selecting Google Chat over here. Just select it. After selecting Google Chat, here in action event from the drop down, select the action event as create message. Then just click on connect. After clicking on connect, the first thing it asks us is chat webhook URL. Now here guys, we have to actually connect our Google Chat space with Pabbly Connect over here. We have to connect our Google Chat account or the space on which we want to send the message with Pabbly Connect. So here for that, for making this connection, we have to enter the chat webhook URL. Now here you must be thinking how you can get this chat webhook URL. So to get it, just go to the space on which you want to send the messages. So in my Google Chat account, I have the space named as lead details. In this space, I want to send the messages with new or updated rows. So here guys, what you have to do, you have to actually create a space. And let me tell you that you need to have a Google Workspace account to set up this automation. If you have a Google Workspace account, only in that case, using this automation, you can send messages. And also you have to be the admin of this space as well. So here I'll go to the manage member section. Right now you can see there is only one user, this is me. And here you can see the space manager as me over here. So here guys, to connect this space with Pabbly Connect, just click on this option, click on this arrow. And here in this drop down, you can see an option named as app and integration. Just click on it. After clicking on apps and integration, here you can see an option named as manage webhook. Just click on it. After clicking on Manage Webhook, it is asking us to give it a name. For example, I'll name this webhook as Pabbly. You can basically give any name of your choice. Also, you have an option to enter a avatar URL. So using this connection, a bot or this connection is going to send messages on our space. So if you want, you can change the avatar URL. You can change the display picture of that message or that bot as well. So if you want, you can add some image URL as well. Right now, I'm just ignoring this avatar URL over here. And now let's click on save. As we click on save, here you can see a new webhook is added in this space. And this is the webhook URL named Pabbly. Just copy this webhook URL from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here in this chat webhook URL section. So in this way guys, we are going to connect our Google Workspace with Pabbly Connect over here. We have created a webhook URL in our Google Workspace, and then here you will see we have added that webhook URL over here from Google Chat Workspace over here. After adding this webhook URL, the next thing it asks us is the message. That what is the message that we want to send? So I want my message to be, hello team. So this is the kind of message I want to send on my Google Chat space. Hello team, a row is updated in Zoho Sheet. Here are the details. So we are setting up this route when a row is updated. If we get the response of updated row, in that case, we want to send this kind of message. Now here we want to add the details of the updated row which we have received from Zoho Sheet over here. So what we are going to do, we are basically going to map the Zoho Sheet responses over here in this message field. So here I'll just click on this field of message, and in front of name, we want to mention the name which was added. We want to mention the name from the updated row from our Google Sheet over here. So we will just click here, and in this drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Zoho Sheet. Out of all of these responses, I will just select the response of first name, and you will see it will be mapped over here. Then I'll just add a space, and once again from this drop down, I will map the last name as well. In this way, whatever row we are going to update, whatever row will be updated in Zoho Sheet, the data of that complete row will be received inside Pabbly Connect. And whatever details we have received in that row inside Pabbly Connect, we are going to send those same details on our Google Chat space using this action step. After name, let's map the email. So we'll just click here. In front of email, from the drop down from Zoho Sheet responses, we will map the email address over here. Then let's map the mobile number as well. So from the drop down, map the mobile number, map the city too. So here you can see the response of city, here it is. And at last, map the response of status as well. This is the status. So in this way, whatever details of an updated row we are going to get from our Google Chat, we are going to send those same updated details as a message on our Google Chat space over here. Instead of this message, if you want, you can basically create any message of your choice and send it on Google Chat. After creating the message, just click on Save and Send Test Request. And when we click on Save and Send Test Request button, here you can see we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the message which we have created over here, this message is sent on our Google Chat space, the same space whose webhook URL we have added in this chat webhook URL field. So let's check it. We will go to a Google Chat account, and yes, here you can see that a message is shared on our Google Chat space which says, "Hello team, a row is updated in Zoho Sheet. Here are the details." We have the same name of the row which we have updated in our Google Sheet. Then you can see the same email address, same mobile number, same city, and the same status. So this means whenever we are going to update any row in Zoho Sheet, we will get that data, that detail inside Pabbly Connect. This automation will trigger, and if the row is updated, this kind of message will be sent on our Google Chat. Now, if you want to send some other kind of message when a new row is added, then we are going to set up the second route. So the first route is successfully created, that if the row is updated, this is the route we want this automation to follow. Now let's set up the second route. We'll just click here. We are going to rename it as, for example, new row, and click on update. Now let's click on this set filter and actions tab. And in the previous route, we have set up the filter condition that if the response label of update row type, if this response equals to updated, then the automation will be continued from the first route which we have created. But if this response is equals to new, so when we captured the response of a newly added row, we have received the response of this label row type as new. So if the response is equals to new, in that case, we want this automation to be executed using this route. So we are just going to click on Save and Send Test Request, and it is going to give us the response as the condition is false. Because we have captured this response of update over here, and we have set up the filter condition of new, then that's why it is showing us the response as false. Means this filter is working perfectly fine. Now, if the new row is added, then what we want to do? Again, we want to send a message on our Google Chat space, but this time the message is going to change. So you can just click on this Add Action Step button. And here in Choose App, once again, we are going to search for Google Chat. Just select it. After selecting Google Chat in the action event, once again, select Create Message and click on Connect. Now, after clicking on Connect, guys, here once again, it is going to ask us for the chat webhook URL. Now, there are multiple conditions possible over here. If you want to send the details of a new row to some other workspace, and if you want to send the details of updated row to some other Google Chat workspace, in that case, you can add different webhook URLs over here. But right now in this automation, I want to send the web message on the same Google Chat workspace. So I'll just paste the exact same webhook URL which we have copied for previous step. After this, what is the message we want to send? What is the message we want to send when a new row is added? So I want my message to be, "Hello team, a new row is added in Zoho Sheet." So once again, we are going to create a message. Now here I have just created some similar messages. If you want, you can enter completely different messages as well. So here one by one, once again, we have to use the process of mapping, and we are going to map all the details which we want to send when a new row is added. So if a new row is added, we want to send all of these details to our Google Chat space as well. So we are going to map all of these details from the Zoho Sheet response tab. Map the mobile number, city, and the status as well. The status over here. Here's the response of status. So in this way, if a new row is added, this is the kind of message I want to send. Now, as I told you, I have created this simple message, but if you want, you can create any message of your choice, and you can map any data of your choice from the Zoho Sheet step. After this, instead of clicking on Save and Send Test Requests, let's click on this Save button over here, and this step will be saved. And our automation workflow is now successfully created. We have created this automation using which whenever a new row is added or updated in our Zoho Sheet account, automatically this automation workflow will trigger. And then we have created two different routes. So if an existing row is updated in our Zoho Sheets account, then in that case, this automation workflow will be continued using this route. And if a new row is added in Zoho Sheet, in that case, this automation workflow is going to execute. It will going to continue using this second route. So we have successfully created this automation, and after creating this automation, let's test this automation a couple of times. I'm going to add a new row of data over here in Zoho Sheet. For example, dummy user. This is the name of the person. This is the email address. This is a test mobile number. The city is, for example, Delhi, and the status is, for example, test. So just now we have added a new row of data in our Zoho Sheet. And because we have added a new row, we will see this automation workflow will trigger, and within few seconds we will see a message is shared on our Google Chat account. The message is, "Hello team, a new row is added in Zoho Sheet. Please check." And here you can see the details of this same exact newly added row. So we have created two different routes, and using the route of new row, here you can see this message is sent. Now, just in case if I, for example, change the status or any other detail, for example, if I change the name of the person, for example, dummy customer. So I have updated a row in my Zoho Sheet, and we will see as I update this row, within few seconds, yes, instantly a message is sent on my Google Chat account. The message says, "Hello team, a row is updated in Zoho Sheet." So because we have updated the row, we have received this message over here, and we have the details of that row which is updated. So here we have tested this automation, and it is working perfectly fine. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And one more important thing, you will find the clone link of this exact same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can actually clone this same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account. And also let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down your suggestion, and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.